I have already said that you have to know your opponents. How do you know your opponents? The good negotiators, they always have a background research team. They will find out every details of individual persons who are likely to be there. One very simple way is, I gave a hint before in one of my lectures, you befriend one of the internal members of that group, opponent group for negotiation. Don't promise any exchanged items, just befriend and very naively or quietly try to know who are the members who are likely to be in the meeting. Most often for a formal business negotiations, they will give a list that these are the persons are being invited to be there. So, every person who are going to be a participating member in that negotiation, their name you know. But for private companies, for government companies, it is very important and it is very protocolish. So, in the protocol they will say, they will write the entire names. So, I hope you know almost all of them. In case you don't, then you try to find out from some insiders that what are the characteristics of individuals, and then also try to find out the status or authority, real or apparent, of those persons who are going to be there. Quite often we have found that the person who is sitting, say one of the level of secretaries who conducts meeting, and we think that he is the boss, and whatever we are discussing and we are saying yes or no, and this person is going to execute it. To our great surprise, we found no, he was not the authority. He was only authority for that particular conducting that particular negotiation meeting, and then he took back the entire outcome or fallout of that particular meeting to his higher authority, and higher authority then analyzed. The danger in such thing is, the danger is something like this. The higher authority person gets communicated to all the points which this person is going to communicate. But it may so happen that all the points that you have stressed has not really reached the higher authority. In such cases, what happens is, knowing your opponents, and if you really know that this person is not a person of authority, then in such cases what you should do is, you discuss, you negotiate, and then you say that you please talk to your higher authority and give us an opportunity to talk to him, and then we also put forward our points in addition to whatever you are putting forward, and then we take a decision. That means you are giving a very clear indication to this person that you are not the person of authority of taking decisions, and we are aware of it. This helps, I will tell you. Now, okay, opponents I can understand to a certain extent you are blind, but you are not blind to your own team. And I can tell you one thing, that in this game, knowing your own team is more important than knowing the opponents. It's almost like in a cricket team or a football team, you know every weakness and strength of every member, and then only you know how to make them play the whole game, because the opponents will start behaving with their own strategies. Their strategy you don't know. You may be knowing the people, you may be knowing the strengths and weaknesses of those individual players in that negotiation, but the strategy you don't know, because your insider, however close he is, he will never tell you the strategy, because if he does it, then it is, there is a conflict of interest. And you must have heard in the historically there are lots of such situations, people who have shared insider informations, they have run into trouble, legal trouble. So the thing is, insider will never give you that strategy information. They will only give you information up to the extent that what is the person like, is he arrogant, is he smooth talking, is he soft and sober, is he the person of authority, or is he just, who is going to give inputs to the person of authority in terms of finance, who is going to give in terms of legal, who is going to speak in terms of technical. These are the information which are very harmless information, which can always be shared. So insider will give you that information. So the point is, when I am saying get it from the insider, I am not saying that you spy on them. No, never, because it is not spying, it is basically trying to know them more. Quite often it happens, I will tell you, if you know your opponents better, you can ask them also straightforward that, may I know who is what? You can, I have done it. In fact, by doing this, I have become friend of them in the negotiation. When I have found their individual qualities and strengths, I never was pokey about the weaknesses. When I tried to find out the individual strengths, I was really amazed to see that what a nice group sitting in front of me. What a knowledgeable group sitting in front of me. And I made it very clear, very explicitly saying that I'm very happy to meet all of you with so many varied knowledges. So I know them now, but I don't know their strategy because they'll never share their strategy with me. During the gameplay, I will try to find out their strategy. That's the art of doing it. That's a skill, soft skill. There I'll try to find out what's their strategy. And then the strategy which I will try to judge, I will verify it through my discussions, through my verbal communications, through my gestures, through my moves, that whether I have understood the strategy. Strategy does not mean negative. Strategy is only the process that they want to follow or the path that they want to tread. Okay? When they're going to do this, I will find it out. And once I have found out their strategy, we are also prepared with our own strategy. And I'm going to play the game because, it's basically, suppose I'm an architect, so I'm a service provider, I'm a technical consultancy provider. So I'm going to meet my client. Client is going to take my service for their benefits, that they have come to me, they have invited me to negotiate because they have an intention that we collaborate on this project. So there is no negative in it. In the whole negotiation process, even if we say the disagreement of the negative, it starts. But here I would say it's integrative. It's integrative for one reason. The client wants a good architect to design their project. They found me as a good architect to design their project. Now they want to work together. And they want to work together, but still they want to negotiate on the price that I'm going to charge. And they are also going to negotiate on the amount of deliverables that they are asking for. So there it is integrative, I'll tell you. It's not differentiative. It's not dividing. The thing is, in this situation, a game plan is very easy, but yet not necessarily ensures that you get a project or you win in the negotiation. Client's intention will be to take more deliverables against lesser fees to be paid to me. And my intention is to be giving the full deliverables with the reasonable price, not overpricing. I am not at all in a mood to overprice, but I want to see through the negotiation that whatever is my actual due, deserving due of fees, I should get it. That's what is the point. But their objective is to get more deliverables and a lesser price. So you can see that both the objectives are slightly differing. It happens. Okay. But what important thing is knowing my own colleagues. In fact, I'll tell you, I burnt my fingers several times taking wrong colleagues for these negotiations, wrong colleagues. It is my fault. I did not really analyze them so much, neither I had the experience or past experience taking such kind of members with my team. I found that I have burned my fingers. Some comments which they have made, some promises which they have made, voluntarily, which was detrimental for the whole negotiation process. It happened. But okay, let me come to this point. Know your colleagues, status and authority. So that means amongst your colleagues, what is the status of individual person or the authority of individual person? Or is it a real authority or an apparent authority? What is real and apparent? Real authority is the chairman goes there. I have seen such situation. It's very interesting. Let me share with you. Real and apparent. One person contacted me saying that their company wants to hire my services. And he is a manager, chief manager or something. He is calling and he is saying that would you be agreed to work with us on this project? I said it's fine. Then in that case he said, can you have a meeting at our office on that specific day? I said okay, done. He is the manager. On that day they said we'll pick you up from wherever you are staying. I found two persons entered. The person who came forward is a very smart guy. He came forward and introduced himself, I am so and so. I was very elated because I have spoken to him earlier. So immediately I got connect. So I said, okay, it's very nice to meet you. And there was another person sitting with the, standing there with both the hands in the pocket and very lanky, panky, thin. I thought he is just one of the workers of that particular company or co-workers who came to accompany him. I didn't really think of getting myself introduced to him because he also did not show such interest. That person quietly comes to me, takes his one hand out and shakes his hand with me with a very soft shake and he says, I am the chairman of the company. I was shocked. I was really shocked. He's the chairman of the company. The real authority is not coming forward, never even spoken to me, and he also did not come forward first. But he is the real authority. The moment I have learned that he is the real authority, he is the chairman, immediately the whole value or whole of my attention to the manager, it just got thrashed. And then on, in the car, chairman and me, we were sitting at the back, and this gentleman was sitting on the driver's side, and we traveled to his office. Can you understand what is the kind of mind game it goes on? And then I went to the chairman's chamber and discussed and negotiated. Imagine if suppose I would have gone to his office myself, seen a very wonderfully decked up or decored office, and I would have taken to the chairman's chamber by somebody. I would have guessed or speculated what could be the chairman looking like. Must be a very, very handsome, a very man of authority. And entering there, I found one lanky-panky person sitting almost sunken on the chair, and he's the chairman. It is, see, it's nothing to do with the physique. Only thing is, what I am trying to say is, usually the person of authority demonstrates authority. This gentleman is not in a mood to demonstrate his authority. He only wants to be a nice person, soft, sober person. He is not at all keen to demonstrate his authority, but his authority is in his mind, whether to give the work or not. This is how it is. So, real and apparent status as amongst opponents, as you should know, also in your own team, you decide who is the real authority, who is not. It is just like in the football game, you have a captain and a vice captain. You should always take it for granted the captain is the person who will be talking to the coach, and the coach will always talk to the captain. Only if captain is indisposed, vice captain will now become active temporarily. So, at that point of time, the vice captain becomes captain. But is it a real captain? No, it's an apparent captain. This has to be understood by you when you are playing a negotiation game, my friend. In the players amongst this, on field and then again off field. That means in your team also, you have on field and off field players, similar kind. There is a coordinator amongst you who is going to coordinate from your side, and there is a speaker who will speak the most, and there will be a shooter who will shoot sharp questions. Okay? The speaker and the shooter may not be the same one, because the speaker keeps on playing with the words and takes it forward, the whole negotiation forward, and the shooter starts very pinpointed questions supported by somebody maybe. Okay. And then there is a linesman. The linesman is that person who is going to give a clue to the shooter that this person, can you ask this question, get this question answered. Speaker is not being told, because speaker should not be interjected. Speaker is responsible for smooth flowing of the whole thing, and coordinator is responsible to see that every phase of the negotiation, all of their targets or all of their objectives have been addressed. The shooter is going to ask the question, linesman very quietly, you must be seeing, I have already given you such example in my earlier soft skill classes, is this, there will be somebody who will be sitting just like this, and his head is very close to the other person, and quietly he will say something. Nobody will hear. He is a linesman. He is giving the clue to the shooter. Why did you ask this question? It happens. Okay. Then the shooter gets ready with that particular linesman's feedback, and then immediately he shoots a question. And this person who is a linesman is not going to ask the question, because if it happens, then everybody is a coordinator. If suppose a 5 or 6 member team, and everybody is a coordinator, everybody is a speaker, everybody is a shooter, everybody is a linesman, then it's going to be a real pandemonium. It's a very, very strong game. You must have seen, even a goalkeeper in a football team is equally competent to shoot a goal. Has he ever done it? Yes, in some cases the real genius goalkeeper picked up the ball and dribbled through and ultimately shot the goal. But the thing is, stopper is equally competent to shoot the goal. But then why we have the keepers or the shooters in that? Why they shoot? Why the ball has to be passed to them, so that it's a whole strategy game in the whole negotiation. Even if you can shoot, but you don't shoot. If you have been given assignment of a linesman, then you don't shoot. If you have been given a responsibility of blocking, then you don't shoot. You only block whenever you find that there is an impasse you have to create, block it. Okay? So, same thing like coordinator, speaker, shooter, linesman, blocker, stopper. As we have for the opponents, you also have it for your own team. But here here everybody's skill Unfortunately, on the opponent side, you have the similar players, but you don't know everybody's skill. And if you are well informed much before and you have well researched, then okay, you may be, but still I can tell you, you may be almost 90% aware or knowledgeable about the strength and weaknesses of your own team, but you can be about 50% or 40% knowledgeable about the skills or strength or weaknesses of the opponent's team. That is the risk that you are taking. Off field, same thing, approver. You negotiate, but don't give a final say. Okay, agreed. You don't say. If you are the chairman going for negotiation along with your team, you are the authority, and you will find always that amongst your team, everybody is negotiating, discussing and all that, playing the whole negotiation game. And finally, the chairman is going to ask the finance person, can we accept this negotiated rate? He will ask the legal person, are you all right in legal terms? He will ask the technical persons, are you all right that we can deliver all these things? He will take feedback from all, but finally he will say, he will approve. So similarly, in your own team, here the chairman, if he is on field, then he may be approver, but the thing is, he is going to take feedbacks from others. Most often they are not on field. The big bosses or the chairpersons will come at the final negotiation. That's a very common tendency, and it's very wise. Let the negotiation go on. All the nitty-gritties and details be discussed at the lower level. Lower level, I don't mean that they are not competent level. At the lower level means not at the chairman level or the MD level. Let this be discussed at this level. When it comes to a common, almost an agreeable platform, then chairman enters, or it goes back to the chairman for his approval. So similar, there is an approver, there is a timer, there is an observer, and there is a resolver, and there is a controller of the whole thing. So you can understand that how important it is during negotiation to know your own colleagues. It all depends on the personality of each one of your colleagues as well as the opponents. So the personality, which is very strongly governed by the soft skills which I had been discussing for so many weeks, are the key things. That is why I have linked this negotiation and marketing strategies along with the soft skills. Soft skills you learn. I am just trying to give you a clue that how really you are going to use it. Okay, what items of personality? I have given a big list here. The list is, experience, instincts, empathy, emotional control, fairness, flexibility, integrity, wits and humor, knowledge, patience, stamina, self-discipline, self-respect, social image and responsibility. Have you noticed? All these are positive skills. All are positive skills which must be there in your team. So when you are selecting a team, you have to be very careful. You must see to it. I'll just draw a few of them to discuss, to highlight. Experience is without saying. Instincts. Amongst your team members, you select such members who have strong instincts, and they can visualize something which has not been thought before. They can find out the weaknesses of this agreement even if it has not been discussed. So instincts, it comes from experience, of course. It comes from experience and also knowledge. So instincts, if somebody with a strong instincts, you can take it. But note of cautioning, if such instincts are being taken as a primary item and every time this particular person becomes a stopper, then keep him away. Because his instinct is saying, don't do it. If he really keeps on practicing that way, in every negotiation he is saying, don't do it, then 3-4 negotiations you have done with no result. It is better that we have a poor instinct person, keep him away, and bring a poor instinct person who is more experienced and more fair. You understand my point? This is how the soft skills will keep on being varied in terms of its weights. Another, the person with integrity. During negotiation, I can tell you, people who regularly negotiate, everybody considers them to be skeptic. Why you are negotiating? Because you are skeptic about the price. But I'll tell you, the person with integrity, if he is skeptic and resulting into negotiation, that means it's his experience and knowledge that's adding. So every item of this personality soft skills are going to be very, very important. The person has to be self-disciplined. He is going for negotiation. Just before that, he went for some kind of, some activities, not focusing anything, and suddenly jumped into the negotiation table. No, has to be self-disciplined. He has worked out his entire negotiation mechanism, the process, the points, he has worked it out. So he is very disciplined. The person who has a self-respect as well. You remember I have talked a lot about the interviewer, and there I have given some hints. Different people have different kind of psychological manifestation during the interview. Same thing will happen here. As person with the least self-respect, if he is in your team, then quite likely that he will be using some odd words during this particular negotiation, which may just spoil or scuttle the whole negotiation process in split second. Because I told you, what you utter from your mouth makes a hell of a difference. It can ruin a long-standing relation in split second. So here you are inviting somebody with least or less self-respect, and he is likely to not even mutual respect and speak something which becomes dangerous. So common mistakes, when I'll talk about in this particular lecture, you'll find that I'll say that these are the common mistakes. Okay, and the person with a social image, a very good social image and a man of responsibility, is the kind of person that you have to look for. So in this, who are players? So basically, when I'm saying it's a game and there's a playing team, and if it is a two-party negotiation, the playing team is your own team and also the opponent's team. But in this case, let us try to find out who are the players, who are these opponents and us. It's a receiver and giver. Somebody who receives the contract and somebody gives the contract. It's a buyer and a seller, somebody who buys a product and somebody who sells the product. That means it's always the opposite. Okay, so they are the players in negotiation. It's a sufferers and the gainers. Somebody who is suffering and somebody who is gaining is just like, I'll tell you, if during the negotiation a promoter or a builder is taking a large tract of agricultural land from the farmers at a very low rate, and the farmers not being able to reap their benefits by farming, they find that this is a better option, that they sell off their lands, and the person who is the builder who is paying a very little price, then the builder is the gainer and the agricultural farmers are the sufferers. If there is something like aggression is taking place, that means one particular region is being taken away by another region or another authority, aggression is taking place or accretion is taking place. In such cases, there would be the person who is taking the best benefit of it, paying the minimum amount of compensation, are the gainers, and the people who are succumbing to the situation and being compelled to sell away the properties or getting created, they are the sufferers. So there are also gainers and sufferers. And during this negotiation process, how much minimizing the gain and minimizing the suffering, that's the target. Very, very interesting game plan, I'll tell you. The negotiation is such an interesting thing. I'm only giving the tips of the iceberg, I can tell you. Means later on I might take a full course only on negotiation if there is demands. Okay, invaders and invaded. Historically it used to happen. One clan used to invade another clan, and then they used to, they used to go as an invader. They used to fight it. And then after that, if the fight was long drawn and nobody was interested to fight anymore, then they were sitting on negotiation table, and then the invader negotiates with certain privileges or say some authorities and says, okay, this clan is now under our control. It used to happen historically in all these aggressions of different during Mughal eras, you must have seen. During the French Revolution time, you must have seen the invaders and invaded. There was a situation, and every time either it was directly invaded without any compensation or it was a negotiated invasions. Okay. Then comes two-party, multi-party. There has to be minimum two-party, minimum. That means it cannot be negotiated singly. So two-party or multi-party. Multi-party is something different. Multi-party is where it is not, I am not talking about the situation where there are in a team, in the opponent's team, there are multiple experts. No. Multi-party is one party is you, and then there are two more parties who are also negotiating in the whole process. The most common one is you as a negotiator, your opponent as a negotiator, and in between there is an agent. So this is a three-party, it's multi-party. When it becomes multi-party, when you find that all the parties are trying to get some benefits of the whole situation, in such cases it becomes a multi-party. Multi-party is not bad, but multi-party becomes complex because there are different objectives and different conflicts of interest and different capability of compensation. So, multi-party becomes slightly complex. If it is two-party, then it can be brought down very swiftly to a situation deciding, okay, this is our decision, and negotiation quickly ends. But in multi-party, it keeps on going, it keeps on going. So, whenever there was some kind of multi-party negotiations for peacekeeping in the international level between countries, when they are warring for years after years, in such cases the multi-party was involved essentially to bring peace in this region, okay? And it took so many years, sometime 10, 15 years. Okay, so this is where it is. One member, many member. I have explained this. That means you are one member meeting many members of the opponents, and then many members means you are many members and you are meeting the one member. That's the kind. So, there are different kind of players in the negotiation, and there are beneficiaries and agent. When I said multi-party, in that I have given an example, like say you are one of the negotiators and there is another one and an agent. Here agent is also a party, but only thing is the beneficiaries are not the agent, even if he is going to get some fees, but that is not his benefit. It is a negotiation happening between me as a property buyer and there is another property seller. Okay? Our returns are very, very high, and we are negotiating on this. We never negotiated with the agent's fees. Say an example, agent will take 2% from me of the negotiated value, agreed value, and 2% from him. So, he gets 4%. We never negotiated in this 2%. And if you do this, it may be, it's not something unnatural or uncommon. If suppose I tell my agent, okay, you can act as an agent of mine and help me in this negotiation, where I will pay only 1% of the agreed sale, not 2%. Then I will first go through this negotiation and settle our rates. He agrees, I also agree. Then he joins me in negotiating with the builder in the price negotiation. And suppose he finds that the builder is going to pay him 2% because he never negotiated. So, now he gets 3%. Okay, fine. So, he is happy with the 3%. So, when we negotiated with his price and me, how much I have to share, that is a negotiation. But suppose I agreed 2% from me, 2% from him, no negotiation. Now, the negotiation between builder and me, and this person is going to be an agent here who is going to put forward many points in favor against. And in fact, his objective is to see both the interests are satisfied. Okay? So, beneficiaries are we two, builder and me, a buyer, and agent is not the beneficiary. Be very careful about it. The place of negotiation, very important. The whole game of negotiation is almost like where you are asked to go for negotiation. It can, if it is your home turf, means your own office. The client is coming to your office to negotiate with you. You are in an advantage situation. It's almost like cricket or football game. You must have seen, if the final game of whether the cricket, international cricket or football is played in the home turf, then always the home team gets an advantage, some advantage, either by the support base or supporter base or by some advantage somewhere. Same thing happens in this. If your client is coming to your office to negotiate with you and you are sitting in your own office, somehow the whole aura of the negotiation is in your favor. It happens. And opposite is also true. If you are going to the opponent's office, opponent's turf to negotiate, then they have the aura of success, they have the probability of success, they have more strength, and they are also supported with their staffs. And you have gone alone or with two members. So, you are a weak team over there. But however, if you are strong internally, so playing in the opponent's turf does not mean that you are a loser, you are going as a loser. No, it is only you have to play a little extra more carefully so that you win. Okay? And if there could be a neutral base, it's something like, okay, let's have a negotiation discussion, not in your office, neither in my office. Let's go to a restaurant. We will sit over there, we will book a table over there, we will discuss on negotiation. That is a neutral base. Quite often I will tell you the neutral based negotiation becomes very, very effective, because in that, in nobody's mind it is being played that I have got the group to negotiate on my table and the vice versa. In this, both of us have gone to a table which is none of his nor mine. Okay, let's have this negotiation. Quite often negotiation across the table in a restaurant over a cup of coffee becomes very, very smooth and fast. Okay, then comes the room size. It matters. If it is whether it's home turf or opponents, the room size matters. You know what happens is it's a play of psychology. If the size is too small, then psychologically you feel constricted, claustrophobic, and then your mind doesn't work the way it should have been freely thinking on various issues. And the room shape. If the room shape is irregular and there are lots of furniture here and there is only one table in which you are sitting and discussing, it gives you a different kind of feeling in the mind, and psychologically you become slightly weak. Okay, so the room size, the room shape, and then room decor. If the room decor is very good, you feel internally, environmentally very, very soothing. Your mind becomes fresh and you start thinking positively. So your room size, room shape and room decor, it can contribute positively or it can also contribute negatively. You have to be very, very careful. In fact, I'll tell you, it is quite sometimes better that if you know where is your negotiating room. Suppose it's an opponent's house, make at least one trip there and have a meeting in that room and judge what is likely to be the environmental impact in the mind of yourself and your team, and how you are likely to react to that particular situation if that is the only space that they have. Okay, you have to take note of it. Table layout. Think about it. See, three things I have said here: table layout, player's position and the sitting height. I have given you some idea about the sitting height and the player's position or such positions when I was talking about the other software items and including the GD. See, if the table layout is such that each member can see the other members, whether opponent or own team, it's the best. So for which oval shape is the best. In my opinion, oval shaped table for negotiation is the best, in which you can see the body languages, you can see the body languages of each and every member, you can also see the signals of your own members, and you can talk to everybody through eye contact, including your own team. So oval is the best. Okay, circular is not necessarily the best, because basically what happens is there is a kind in the game. See, there's a center line of the table, and then the line is linear, that's elliptical or oval, in which the opponent team is sitting on the other side and your team is sitting on this side. So all of you are facing each other. While facing each other, slightly turned so that the cornermost person also can see the other cornermost person here along the same direction. That is important. Architecturally, I can tell you this is very, very important. So negotiation table, if you ever if you work as an architect, think about the negotiation table to be designed like this. Sitting height is very important. Suppose you have been given a chair which is very low and your table is always at this height. I gave you this example earlier. Suddenly you think that psychologically you have been lowered. I have walked in an office, I'll not name. There I have seen the bosses, when they used to negotiate, they used to sit on a higher chair and a table. And the other persons who came for negotiation, they were offered a lower chair, low height chair. It's psychologically demeaning, psychologically overpowering, and so negotiation is done at the common playing field at the same level. I really saw, I was very young at that time and I was experienced through this particular process. I found that how come the very, very strong personality who is sitting at the negotiation table on the other side at the lower height, how he lost it. I won't say entirely that he has lost it because he was sitting at the low height necessarily. No, it may be that he was not feeling very comfortable to communicate, and here his head was always high, eyes were always going towards this, and the other group was looking down upon. It matters a lot, I'll tell you. Okay, then comes the environment. What is the environment of the room? What is the light condition? Is it bright? Is it gloomy? Does it have window? Natural windows, natural light sources? If it doesn't, see, having a negotiation in a closed room without any natural light is, sometimes it becomes psychologically very depressing. And then what's the audio quality? Can you hear every member what they are saying? Or is it too loud? Or is it too husky? Or is it a disturbed audio sound? All these matter. Then comes the conditions of the negotiation. In that, what happens is the flexibility. Are you flexible when you are negotiating, or are you under pressure? The pressure is pressure by the client and pressure by yourself. What is your pressure? Your pressure is you have to get this job. That's your internal pressure. You have about 50 staffs whom you have to give the salary. If you don't get this job, then you cannot pay. You have to be really finding out from where you are going to pay them. So you are under pressure intrinsically. So are you under pressure? If you are under pressure, it's going to definitely impact the negotiation. If you are not under pressure, if you know that this 50%, if I don't get this job, they'll get the salary from my other projects, then you'll find you are in a stronger situation and you will negotiate very hardly, strongly. Okay, self-respected. Are you having the self-respect? And then, do you have patience? So conditions of negotiation is always focused around the patience, the body language, the moods. What is a mood? Quite often I have found negotiation is very good when it's a healthy mood. Everybody is almost having a very friendly gestures and interactions and discussion and negotiation is going on. It works out better. If you find that somebody is trying to pressurize you for reducing your fees, and everybody is giving you a hint that I'm charging high, you are charging high, you are charging high, you will find automatically you will become weak. Okay, so the mood has to be very good. In fact, if you convert the mood to a very friendly mood, a jovial mood for everybody, then everybody becomes rational, and not only rational, they also become more keen to give a little more concessions. It happens. Then comes aggression, friendliness, and the healthy. Whether the discussion is healthy, whether the interaction is healthy, or is it friendly. And then ethics, is it following the ethics? See, the thing is, what is that ethics during negotiation? You are saying something and they are speaking, two persons are speaking amongst themselves without paying any attention to it. It's not ethical, because you have come here spending your time, I would say dedicating your time for a fruitful negotiation. These two people are not giving a patient hearing. So that means they are not really seeing the actual results. Okay, is it truthful? Is this negotiation serious? Or are they suspicious? Is there any suspicion inbuilt in the whole thing? This is how the whole thing has to be considered in your whole discussion of the negotiations. Okay, so if I consider this negotiation as a game, and then there would be certain concepts. I will discuss these key concepts in my next lecture.